What's up, everyone? I'm Tim, and this is my channel, 40 Times Around, where we talk about everything related to motorcycles, camping, travel, and adventure. And since I started talking about my indefinite travel plans, I've been getting a lot of really great questions. And so for the next few episodes, I'm going to kind of elaborate on some of that. And as I said in that video where I announced my summer plans, I did want to vlog about the process of getting ready for this. And part of that process is how I'm approaching the budget aspect of this trip. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Stick around. So as far as budgeting goes for a motorcycle trip, I would typically refer you to a video I did almost a year ago. It was one of my first few videos about how much does a motorcycle trip cost. I'll link to it right here if you want to check it out, but that's more geared towards a structured trip. In other words, a set amount of time, set amount of miles. Everything is kind of pre-planned and packaged. It's a little easier to figure out a budget for that. For my case, I'm actually working more on a monthly basis. I'm looking at how much do I need every month to survive and pay my bills and business expenses and all of these things. And then on top of that, how much do I need to travel each month? Things like monthly bills, my phone bill, insurance, business expenses, those are set in stone. They're not fluid. They're not going to change. So that's added into my budget of how much money do I need to come up with each month. Another constant is going to be my fuel. Now, I have a rough route in mind that I'm not quite ready to announce yet my entire plans for this trip, but I do have a loose route in mind that at least gave me the ability to figure out my mileage, figure out, how much money am I going to need for gas roughly if I do the entire scope of the trip I want to do. Once I figured out my mileage, I was able to figure out how much my fuel was going to cost, and then also was able to kind of guess how many times I was going to do oil changes, final drive, regular maintenance, so I could account for how much that was going to be. Beyond that, I added a little bit of a cushion for, let's say, an extra set of tires and any kind of emergency situation that might come up. So I can take that number, divide it over the amount of months I'm going to be gone. I'm kind of taking this in a 6-month chunk to start with and then kind of go from there. So for 6 months, divided by the mileage I want to do, I'm able to figure out how much each month I need to come up with to travel. And also pay my bills. So everything we just discussed, that's the set number that I really need to travel if I want to fulfill the full scope of the trip that I want to take. The fluid costs are where I have a little bit of flexibility, and the fluid costs are going to be things like food, lodging, and fun money. These are the things that I can change without changing the scope of my trip. So in other words, I won't have to sacrifice not going somewhere that I want to go, or not getting to a certain city to meet with somebody, or not going to a certain national park because of, fuel costs. I'll have the money for that. But with making some adjustments in my food budget and my lodging budget, I'm able to kind of be flexible and make the trip fit into what money is actually coming in. So the reality is the money's not quite there yet. It's close, it's just not quite there yet. So my thought process is that I will probably be hiding out in national forests every once in a while, waiting for the next check to hit, cooking a lot of food at camp, and just staying in a lot of places that don't cost me any money, with a few Airbnbs here and there, just to kind of give myself a little bit of a break from the ground. As far as food goes, it's going to be a lot of going to grocery stores to get food, cook for myself. I'm not going to be eating out. There'll be a lot of pasta and a lot of cheap food, at least in the beginning, until the budget and the finances kind of smooth themselves out. As far as lodging, like I said, it's going to be a lot of free camping, a lot of staying with friends, a lot of staying with people that I haven't met yet. I've gotten a lot of invitations, which is just amazing, and I am so excited about meeting a bunch of you. As far as fun money, this is going to be a pretty limited factor for me. I won't be spending a lot of money on, wild and crazy adventures like helicopter rides and all of that. But if there's an event I want to go to that costs a little bit of money, or maybe a museum, I'm able to, like I said, make some adjustments in my food and lodging to kind of offset that, at least for now. The way things are going, the money is growing and it's coming in. It's getting better. It's just not quite there yet. So in the beginning, there's definitely going to be a period of adjustment and settling in, and just kind of waiting for the rockiness to smooth out. So the reality is there is no magic number that I have in my bank that I can say, okay, now I'm ready to leave. The truth is the money isn't really there, but based on the income coming in and, my ability to hustle, I think I can make it work. So this is kind of where I'm at, is this point of sort of taking a leap of faith. It's kind of like getting on a boat from a dock in a rocky ocean. The boat and the dock is just kind of doing this, and as you're getting onto the boat and you're stepping onto the boat, at some point you have to let go of the dock or you're going to end up in the ocean. So it's just kind of at that point for me where spending time working a full-time job isn't allowing me to pursue certain avenues with my own business. And paying rent is money I could be spending on fuel and sleeping in national forests. So there's just a point where I'm not quite there yet, but taking that leap of faith is what is going to get me there. So yes, it's a little scary, but I have a lot of faith in this, and I know that for me, I just feel like it's meant to be. So I have trust that this is going to work out. A few years ago, I took a 10,000-mile trip around the United States. I had a lot of goals and ambitions for that trip, but one of them was to see how cheaply I could travel. I managed to stay on the road for 5 weeks for only $1,800, and I don't know if that sounds like a lot of money, but I was going pretty cheaply on that trip, and I was pretty impressed with the amount of money that I didn't spend on that trip, especially in comparison to some other motorcycle adventures that I had taken. So I really learned a lot of tricks and ways to kind of save some money on that expedition. So my plan is, as this is going to be sort of paycheck to paycheck in the beginning, if I'm coming up a little short, is to go hide out in a national forest for a few days. Maybe catch up on some filming, go hang out at a coffee shop and catch up on a little bit of work, and just try not to spend too much money. If I'm not putting gas in my bike, I'm not covering too much ground, there really aren't any expenses. I'm not paying rent, and I'm not paying for a place to sleep typically. So really I'm able to kind of just wait it out, enjoy nature, enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy just being stationary for a while, let the money come in, and eventually the flow will just kind of become a little more consistent. That's kind of how I'm thinking about the budget for this trip. I hope that kind of answers that question for you. Also, just a few quick announcements. Stickers are officially available. I know when I said that last time, it said they were out of stock. They are actually in stock, so if you want stickers, link in the description box below. And I am officially announcing books are for sale. I have 50 of them, maybe a little less than 50 because a few of them have already been promised to people. If you want those, link in the description box below. And one more thing. We're actually in Reno right now, and if you haven't noticed this yet, at the end of all my videos, I've been kind of telling you where I'm at. I got a lot of requests last year for people that wanted to know where I was filming, so I decided to start including that at the end of my video. So from here forward, if you're curious, make sure you stick around to the end of the video. That's it for today. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like button. Anyways, if you got something out of this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't already. That way you don't miss anything whenever I post something new about motorcycles, camping, travel, and adventure. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.